Shared YouTube link.
Cool.
Right?
Let them join YouTube.
Huh?
Let them join YouTube directly. Toxic. Is this so many new adverts?
Yeah. It's gonna be a little bit.
Maybe I can see that toxic. It's fine.
Enemies reading.
Huh?
Enemies reading.
No enemies, man. I'm good. I have zero. I have withdrawn from all. Yeah. Perfect. Good to go.
Still,
Yeah.
enemies reading.
Huh?
Enemies reading.
No enemies, man. I'm
Good.
good. No, you are pushing. Just go to YouTube. I have zero. I have withdrawn from all. Yeah. Perfect. Good to go.
Still,
Yeah.
enemies reading.
Huh?
Enemies reading.
No enemies, man. I'm good. No, you are pushing. Just go to YouTube. I have zero. I have withdrawn from all. Yeah. Good to go.
Still,
Yeah.
enemies reading.
Huh?
Enemies reading.
No enemies, man. I'm good. No, you are pushing. Just go to YouTube. I have zero. I have withdrawn from all. Yeah. INI-CET rank 1. Good to go.
Still, what is this?
For YouTube.
No.
Yeah.
Enemies reading.
Huh?
Enemies reading.
No enemies, man. I'm good. No, you are pushing. Just go to YouTube. I have zero. I have withdrawn from all. Yeah. INI-CET rank 1. Good to go.
Still, what is this?
For YouTube.
No.
Okay, Chinua, I'm ready when you are.
Yeah. Just one.
Enemies reading.
No enemies, man. I'm good. Just 1 second, Sairam. You are pushing. Just. What's up? Go to YouTube. I have zero. I have withdrawn from all. Yeah. INI-CET rank 1. Good to go.
Still, what is this?
For YouTube.
No.
Okay, Chinua, I'm ready when you are.
Yeah. Just one.
Enemies reading.
No enemies, man. I'm good. Just 1 second, Sairam. Take it on this. You are pushing. Just. So you can start sharing your screen. Yeah. Go to YouTube. I have zero. I have withdrawn from all. Yeah. INI-CET rank 1. Good to go.
Still, what is this?
For YouTube.
No.
Okay, Chinua, I'm ready when you are.
Just one.
Enemies reading.
No enemies, man. I'm good. Just 1 second, Sairam. Take it on this. You are pushing. Just. So you can start sharing your screen. Yeah. Go to YouTube. I have zero. I have withdrawn from all. Yeah. INI-CET rank 1. Good to go.
Still, what is this?
For YouTube. Okay. Switch it on now.
No.
Okay, Chinua, I'm ready when you are.
Just one.
Enemies reading.
No enemies, man. I'm good. Just 1 second, Sairam.
Is this alright?
Okay. Cool. Makes sense.
Yeah, it's all good, sir. We'll start in. I'll just confirm if it's good on YouTube and then we're good to go, sir.
Can the rest of you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Alright.
Please
So
avoid
we'll
unmuting yourself
yeah.
on call or switching on video or sharing your screen. Yeah. Just 1 second, sir. We'll start.
Hmm.
Is that? It's okay, huh? Everything going to work on. Check the YouTube one. Check on your phone. Yeah. Don't open the book.
So is this being shared on YouTube as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
What's up?
I don't even know what all this means. Just picture of it. Which picture?
Happy.
He has no pen with it, right? He can
No,
go.
he can go.
When I go to the notes.
I didn't expect the need for the. I mean, I did kind of expect. I just thought.
I thought this many ones are like on time. Mine is on.
No, I bought them and just share the photo. Perfect, no? Huh? Yeah. And this starts screen recording.
Check on YouTube if it's problem once.
Yeah.
Chinua, if your connectivity is an issue, you guys can stop your video streaming. That might help you a bit.
I think we are good to go. Yeah.
We're good to go, sir. Check once on YouTube if it's streaming.
Okay.
We're good to go.
Yeah, you can.
What's that? Hello, okay. Good evening to all. I'm Sibanuj from the batch of 2K20, and I'll be hosting this session in which uh, at first I'll give you a basic overview of the session. So Sairam sir, he's made a PPT in which he'll describe about his initial journey. Okay, in which he'll share about his initial journey and give insights about the same. After that, there was a Google form shared yesterday in which around 70 people have sent questions. I'll be asking the same questions to Sairam sir, and at the end, if time permits, people can unmute themselves and ask any questions if they have any at the end. So I'll start the session by introducing uh, uh, our beloved senior, Dr. BVSN Sairam. He's from the batch of 2K19. He secured All India rank of 1 in the recently conducted INI-CET exam November. Um, uh, he's also a very good quizmaster. He was in JIPMER, he was in the L&D committee, and he was a co-editor of Montage magazine. So I'll give it over to Sairam sir now. We'll start the session with him sharing about his insights, sharing about his INI-CET journey through a PPT. Over to you, Sairam sir.
With this kind of video, no?
Thanks for that wonderful introduction, Siba. Hey guys, it's really nice to connect with all my juniors and my batchmates. I mean, it's basically I've gotten so many requests on how I approached INI-CET preparation, and I think I'm so sorry. I think it just cut. So yeah. So I've gotten so many requests on how I approached my INI-CET preparation, and I'd love to share that with you guys because I feel like at the end of my discussion, you'll find that it wasn't anything extraordinary. To be honest, it's just going to be stuff that you expect, and I want you guys to believe that you guys can also achieve a top rank in INI-CET. Right? It just requires a lot of discipline. It requires some dedication. So I'll be discussing my prep, my journey all the way from internship and all the way till November. I'll be sharing the briefly going over the sources I've used and the tools I've used to optimize my study. And at the end, we'll have some question and answers, definitely, because I know you guys will have some questions for me. So let's just get with it. I have a few slides. I'll try to be quick with it, probably 30 minutes or so. All right. So the brief outline, I'll give you a timeline of the events that happened since February and the various phases of prep and the resources I've used. And then we'll just go over how to go about doing MCQs and the importance of giving tests and some reflections on my journey. And then we'll do the questions. All right. Yeah, so disclaimer, because everyone is unique, right? What works for me might not work for someone else. And the people who've gotten rank one before me have had a completely different form of preparation. There will be people after also have a completely different format of preparation. So no two rankers would have the exact same strategy, but almost weaknesses, and that is critical in your preparation. You need to know what your strengths are and what your weaknesses. You need to work on your strengths and also identify your weaknesses. And so brief timeline. So my first exam was INI November last year, and that was during my internship. People like to call that a zeroth attempt. So I mean, I had like UHC, RHC postings that time, so I had little time to prepare, but I didn't prepare anything before that. And so I just attempted a few Marrow GTs, and that's it. So my rank was around 2,800. And if you may have heard, INI November 24 was a kind of an anomaly in the sense that it was fairly easy compared to previous papers. For rank one, the usual cutoff would be 150 to 160 corrects. But in INI November, the corrects all went 20. And with my preparation, I scored 144. But as you can see, that only gave me a rank of 2,800. So, of course, my internship ended in Jan 25, and I prepared for May 25. With 4 months of preparation, I secured a rank of 698. And you'll see that I scored even lesser corrects compared to November. So, the standard of the paper returned in May, November. After May, I didn't get the seat that I wanted. I wanted either medicine or nuclear medicine or pediatrics in JIPMER, and I wasn't able to secure any of that. So I gave NEET. So in NEET, which we'll see why that went so bad, I scored 158 corrects. But the thing about NEET-PG is the level of questions are fairly easy compared to INI-CET. So what would get you to not going to get you top 1,000 in NEET-PG, right? And of course, after NEET-PG, I completely changed up my preparation. And in November this year, I was able to secure rank one, a total number of 162 correct questions. So for all my juniors, I'm not someone who read every day. And I used to read before the exams with my friends. But one thing that was my strength is I love listening to class. So that's been used to listen to lectures. I mean, I also had the obligation of being class representative, so it was kind of my duty to pay attention to. But nonetheless, I did classes, and I do believe that JIPMER has very strong with good practical classes, good case exposure, and good clinical teaching. This is not may realize at this stage, but once you go out and you see other people from other colleges, you'll realize that you are a step above the rest. So So I did and that was slightly due to peer pressure because I saw people around me preparing for exams, whether it was USMLE. I saw people buying Marrow, and I thought, okay, I better start this race. And so I did buy it in third year, but I I didn't really utilize Marrow as much as I could have. Mostly for PSM or ENT or Oftal for preparing for IAs. I used it here and there for the video lectures and the notes. But it was never with the goal of NEET or INI in mind. I never sat down and prepared for the entrances. In final year, of course, everyone gets more serious about studies because it is final year. It's going to be the toughest year, and so I started watching a few lectures, especially surgery in OBSCON. And in internship also, when I had some very chill postings, I did look at the videos here and there. But I'd say I prioritized having a good college life over preparing for entrance exams. And fortunately, I'm at a stage where I don't have regrets over these things. Sorry, the screen's not changing. Oops. Yeah, so after my internship ended in January, so between February to May, I had like 4 months to prepare. So my plan at the time was just to do Marrow rapid revision and finish all the videos. And I thought I'd annotate notes from those lectures. And if some concepts needed to be revised from, especially from first and second year, I'd go back and watch the main videos. But I definitely did not have time to watch main videos back then. The thing I learned about Marrow RR later is that it does not cover all the topics. So it just prioritizes high yield topics. So after completing Marrow RR, you might be left with a sense of, you might be left with a feeling that you left some topics, right? For instance, if you remember in Oftal, for people who've done third and fourth year, you know that in Oftal, uveitis is a pretty important topic for IAs, but it's never been asked in INI, or it's been asked very rarely. So it's not even discussed in Marrow RR. So you get left with this feeling of not having finished the portion. That was one drawback with Marrow RR that I felt. As for Marrow RR, I did almost all my subjects except for these three, right? So anatomy pretty too short. It was Ashmir taught Anat in Marrow, but he only did 8 lectures, and it's definitely not enough. But what I feel you could do instead of Marrow RR is his one-shot video. I think he recorded it last year. So if your baseline in Anat is strong, you can just go through his one-shot. It's about 6 hours long, but it covers almost everything: embryology, histology, and upper limb, lower limb, everything. It was pretty much perfect, basically. And where I did have doubts, like thorax especially, I did watch Dr. Raviraj's main videos in Marrow. Micro RR is taught by Dr. Abdul Nasir, who's actually a fairly popular microbiology teacher, but his style did not suit my style of learning at all. I watched. And so for this, I used Dr. Preeti Sharma's rapid revision. She does that on Prep Ladder. I was able to pirate these. But her style of teaching is really good, I feel, and short if you can. And ultimately for Marrow Medicine RR, there's a lot of people who don't like Rakesh's style of teaching. I mean, I can understand that definitely, and I do feel that goes into topics that aren't really important for competitive exams. He likes teaching for the sake of stimulating interest in the topic. So if you don't like that, you can definitely give other platforms a try. I did not use many other platforms, but I did watch a few DAMS videos, and Dr. Srinath takes a few lectures, especially in rheumatology, and I did like that. But apart from that, BTR covers medicine to a really good extent. If you have your concept strong, you can go ahead, blindly watch BTR, and you will be able to understand everything there. So the thing is, I didn't know what BTR was until April, and that was when Rohan, my batchmate, that's when he introduced it to me, and he said, there's this offline camp for BTR in Chennai, and he was planning to go, and he called me too. And so, I mean, because he was doing it, I thought, okay, why not give this a shot? And it's a 4-day. You have to arrange your. It's a massive auditorium, like 1,500 people. and it's a really intense program. So, I mean, BTR takes hours and hours to finish the online course, and for that to be compressed into 4 days, it's difficult for her to teach also, but she does it. And as students, it's our responsibility to cope up, right? So yeah, it's 10 hours a day for 4 days. And the thing is, if you don't know the content, if you haven't done any RR, if you haven't done BTR before, you're going to feel pretty lost. So, I would say if you wanted to attend BTR, you have to do at least or a BTR before attending the offline BTR. Well, okay, yeah, my juniors probably don't know this. So, is a program by a lecturer. Her name is. She secured rank 1 in 2015, INI, and she is a grad from AIMS Delhi. So she started unacademy lectures in during the pandemic, and she became really popular. And then she started one course which is called BTR. So it's supposed to be a concise of all 19 subjects. The thing about BTR is it focuses on high yield topics on previous year topics. So what I do feel about BTR is you cannot miss out on BTR, right? Because BTR is a popular course. There will be so many people doing it. There will be toppers who will be doing it. And if you get stuff from BTR wrong, your rank is going to be affected. That is what I feel. We'll go more into that later. So so I only had 4 months to prepare for May, and it was kind of disorganized. I didn't have a proper sense of direction. So I found that I couldn't really revise Marrow more than twice. And I haven't given enough MCQs by then because I thought I could just read the subject matter and I could go to the exam. I did give GTs regularly, but I didn't really go beyond Marrow schedule. Now, Marrow, when it's like 2 months before the exam, they usually schedule GTs every week or every 2 weeks. But that kind of frequency isn't really enough, in my opinion. I will be discussing that too later on. And the BTR bootcamp that I attended was high yield. It didn't have all the BTR content, but it did have a significant part. And it's also so much to memorize that it only gives you it only works as short-term memory if you don't revise it. And also, I lacked a routine when I was preparing for my May exam. So these are all challenges that I faced in May and which I tackled in November. I will be discussing that too. But the one major problem that or the one major mistake that I did in May INI was the fact that I attempted too many questions. Now, if you remember, November INI was really easy. So I went into May INI thinking that's how INI usually asks questions. And I tried to attempt as many as I could. So my rank was 698, as you can see here. And I had 142 correct. Now, if you look at All India rank 550, he attempted less questions, but he left more questions and he got less questions wrong. So his score was just marginally higher than mine, but his rank was 150 ranks higher than mine. So you can see a lot of clustering around 120 to 130. That's what happened last time. And that's when I realized that, you can't generalize a paper based on the previous year papers. You have to play each paper like it's its own, it's its own game. Something like, each cricket pitch is different. Some are high scoring and some are low scoring. So you do have to analyze within the exam whether this is an exam where you have to attempt more or you have to leave a lot. And then this happened after May INI. In June, RCB won the IPL for the first time in 18 years. And, I was feeling really low after May INI. But after this happened, I had a sense of belief, if RCB could do it, so could I. You just have to believe. And then after May, my focus was obviously on NEET because now, even though I always wanted to come back to JIPMER, I wanted to do JIPMER medicine. I needed a backup in case that didn't work out. So my focus was on NEET, and NEET was postponed. It was supposed to be held in June, and then it got pushed to August. But I experienced a lot of burnout in this process. And so I felt like studying the same material felt boring, but I didn't want to study new material because it was scary because how much am I going to read? I tried to give a few GTs, but I definitely did not do MCQs in that time, and I still did not have routine, and I lacked discipline. I can admit at this stage that I wasn't so serious about NEET. I should have been more serious, but I wasn't. So, I mean, unsurprisingly, NEET went really bad. 3.7K. I wouldn't get general medicine in any good, decent state college for that rank. And you can see here, I got 158 correct, which is, higher than any INI that I'd given. But NEET-PG has significantly easier questions, so you have to be scoring 160 plus to get a good rank. So, I mean, looking back, if I did apply myself better in the exam, I could have scored a little higher, but, nothing I can do about that. So, yeah, after NEET, I took a break from the exam season for friends because I was experiencing a lot of burnout. I'd almost given up by the time NEET had come. So I took a break and just aligned myself again, and then I got back to the grind. And now I knew that it is no longer a backup option. I only have INI November to crack, and I have to get a seat in INI November. So I strategized. So I changed up my resources. BTR because I did mention Rohan, right? So his rank was 22 All India and NEET, and he did BTR and he did previous year questions and a lot of question solving. So I took a little inspiration from him. I decided it's time for me to do BTR, and then I established a routine. I woke up early and I slept early because that's the time I was most effective in. And I also started tracking study time. If you guys know, there's this app called YPT. There's other apps also like Forest, for instance, where you can just track your study time. You can compete with other people, and and also joining a study group. If you join any Telegram study group, which is motivated, I did that, and I found a really good group where it was a group of like 250 students who were targeting INI November. They used to send custom models every day. We used to share our TND marks and our GT marks and compete with each other. So these are all things that I feel are really useful. I mean, even if you don't do group studies, you need a sense of competition to push yourself sometimes, because in the end, it doesn't matter how much you score. It matters how much you score relative to other people. So knowing what the competition looks like is a way to motivate yourself. I also there was a drastic change in the way I approached MCQs now. So I decided I would do at least 2 modules a day. That's a minimum of 50 questions each. So one is based on the TND schedule. By the way, TND stands for tests and discussions in BTR. And one mixed bag, which is basically, it's just a random assortment of all 19 subjects. And the focus was basically making sure I completed all previous year questions. Marrow has a question bank from 2017, if I'm not wrong. So from 2017 to 2025, I should have finished this by the time November INI had come. I did repeat my bookmark questions. You have to, there's a bookmark feature in Marrow. If you actually hold on to the bookmark button, there's 3 types of bookmarks you could set. I found out about that only in September. So you need to make use of this bookmark option. Save the questions that you feel are volatile or are new points or you keep getting wrong. And you have to repeat them, just like how Anki does spaced repetition. I mean, I didn't use Anki, but I know it's a very useful tool. So you have to do repetition in one form or another. And yeah, I tried to solve as many QBank modules as I could this time. So I talked to Rohan Parot sir. He's from 2K18 batch. His rank was 7 in the last November INI. So when I met him and I talked to him, he told me he also didn't do that well in May INI. But he switched up his preparation from studying to solving. And he finished the entire QBank by the time November INI came. So that was the advice he'd given me, and that's the advice I followed. So yeah, I had to crack INI November at any cost. So these are screenshots from my YPT app, which is, these are the times in hours that I studied every day. So you can see I started out low, around 6 to 7 hours, and then I gradually pushed up to 8, 9. And by the time November INI came, I hit 12 hours and I hit 13 hours. So I do believe YPT or similar apps can be a great tool to really look at how much time you're using every day, because you won't really know how effective you've been until you track it. You have to actively track your time. I also set up a YPT group. Some Jipmerites did join that group, and it's nice to compete with your fellow batchmates. So it was a good feeling. So after NEET, from August to November, now my primary source was BTR. I completed all the BTR's videos. So basically, in BTR, you're given a schedule. So they tell you the dates of the exams, the subject tests that they're going to put. And so I decided I'd have to watch the BTR video and I have to go through Maro RR by the time I solved that BTR test. BTR also has these things called extra edge and compiled modules. So basically, compiled modules are basically review of textbooks. So she goes through textbooks like Parks, Guyton's, she goes through Harrison's, Bailey's, etc. And she also covers first aid for those of you who've read first aid before. She also, so I, apart from this, I focused on giving more subject tests from Maro. So if any of you are Maro users, you'll know that there are, apart from GTs, there are mini tests and there are subject tests in the test section. So I tried to solve as many as I could before giving the TND. I treated every TND like it was another competitive exam like INI, and it was a rank deciding exam. It was my duty to finish all previous year questions from that subject before giving the TND. And as for grant tests, at least one per every 10 days towards the beginning. And I increased my frequency steadily. And towards the end of preparation, I was trying to give 2 grant tests a week. If you're using BTR, I do recommend that you watch the discussions. Usually the live discussions are really slow and take a long time. So if you want to save time, you should probably watch them when they're recorded. You can watch them in 2x. And I do recommend that you see every single question because you might find some new point in every question. This goes for any MCQ. Even if you get the MCQ correct, one of the options might teach you something new about the topic. And ultimately, I established a book for error for basically all the mistakes I was making in GTs. Apart from that, any new points that I found, any volatile concepts or any really weird one-liners that I can't memorize, I wrote them all down in a separate book. So this is what my error book looked like. I actually have it right here. So it's basically a binder. It looks like this. It's a ring binder. So I organized it by subject. And within subjects also, if there's sections, I organized it like that. So this was actually one of the, I'd say this was really crucial in the last few days before my INI. Because this was a source of rapid revision for me. Like I was able to finish this in one day. There's around like 300 pages in this book. But because I'd seen it multiple times, I used to read this book before every grant test that I'd given. So I was able to finish this in like 12 hours before my exam, and that gave me the confidence because before the exam you'd be tensed about where to read and whether you can finish the portion. So this gives you a nice, concise material to read from. So yeah, this is what it looked like. So you can see each. I used to get questions about hairy cell leukemia wrong, so I wrote down everything that's been tested about hairy cell leukemia from that question, and so on. So by the time INI November came around, my thoughts about the exam were I did feel like it was slightly easier than May, but maybe that's because I was more confident this time. I'd given all TNDs, I'd solved so many questions, and I do believe questions can build confidence in you. Solving more GTs and watching your rank go up and your percentile going up is really a good confidence booster. But the cutoffs are slightly lower than May, and there's always less competition in the November exam because people have written NEET, and after NEET, very few people attempt INI-CET because the cutoffs for INI seats are so high. And that gives you a good chance because you as Jipmerites have an institute quota. So if you want to come back to Jipmer, you have a really good advantage. And the paper division in INI was very apparent this time. So half of the paper was dedicated to first and second year. And that's true about any INI. They really focus on the basic subjects. So in second year subjects are really strong. It is a foundation for your third and fourth years, but it's also a good foundation for INI. And I do feel like built a I built a really good base with my first and second years. To that was because I was at home during the pandemic when I was studying these subjects, so I had a lot of time on my hands, and I was reading I was reading textbooks basically. So I mean, yeah, I did build basics during that time. In any INI, there's going to be really weird questions. They're going to be wild questions, and it doesn't matter. You shouldn't freak out when you see these questions because they don't really change your rank. You don't even have to attempt them. You can just leave them and you cannot afford to get easy question wrong because your competition is going to get them right, and that's kind of what BTR targets. The objective of BTR is to make sure that the 160 easy questions that you get in INI, you're going to get every single one of them right. I mean, it's not about BTR; it's about any material you prepare from. Your goal is to get those 160 correct. Excuse me. So coming to MCQs, I do believe that early MCQ practice pays dividends. Now, I started solving MCQs really late, and that is one of my regrets because MCQs is not about knowledge. It's really about it's a skill. Because the thing about MCQs is the option is right in front of you. It's there in 4 choices. You just need to figure out which can be the answer and which is not the answer, and that is something that comes with practice. Even if you're less prepared with the topic, I would recommend that you try to solve the MCQs from the question bank because that's also a way of learning. You learn from your mistakes, you learn from your guesses. Excuse me for a moment. And yeah, so MCQs cover points that are not in your notes too, because your notes can only cover so much. If you ever solved a Marrow question bank, you're going to find questions that you feel like you've never seen before, and that's the point of MCQs. There are some new points, and you cannot miss out on them. And Marrow's QBank is said to be the best out there. And I mean, if you haven't purchased anything, I would recommend Marrow's QBank. And you can use these mini tests and subject tests when you're done reading a topic to assess your overall performance in a topic. And you can identify any lacunae that you need to work on. And you can go back to main videos and watch them, for instance. And do not be discouraged if a module goes poorly. I've had modules where I scored only like 25% of the questions correctly. And that's okay because the 75% is stuff that I'm learning. Every question is a learning opportunity. So this is from one of the modules I solved. I just posted this here to show that you don't have to get every question correct to still be in the 100th centile, right? So that goes for INI. You do not need to attempt all 200 questions. No topper is going to attempt all 200 questions, basically. You do need to leave questions because leaving a question will give you 1/3 mark. You need to see it in that way. And 1/3 mark makes all the difference in INI. So, I mean, this is just to show my ranks just before INI November. So, I mean, I was scoring in the thousands before NEET, for instance. My rank was like 3,000, 4,000. But after I changed my preparation strategy, and I mean, my ranks significantly improved. I was getting in the hundreds and top 50s too. And this happened just before my November exam. On the top, you'll see one question where only 7% of people got it right. I was part of that 7%. And the second one was a question, and I was part of the 4% who got it wrong. And these things happen, and you shouldn't freak out. It's part of the process. About test giving. It's better to give tests to read the same topic over and again, because there's only so many times you can read a topic and then you'll just get bored and then you lose concentration. And test giving is an unavoidable part of preparation. I can understand that sometimes you feel apprehensive because you don't feel fully prepared for the test, but that's okay. You don't have to be fully prepared. You just have to give the test. Because just like MCQs, sitting for a test is a challenge in itself. So so start giving early. You can start as early as 3rd year. It's okay if you don't know the clinical subjects. You can still work on the pre-paraclinical, and you can work on ENT opthal, for instance. You just need to give the test. You need to understand what kind of questions are coming. Don't bother about ranks or marks. Try to replicate the exam conditions. I mean, this is more for the people who have finished their final year or who are starting an internship or post-internship. When you're giving GTs, you want to practice as though it was the real INI exam. So set a time for the exam. For instance, tell yourself that tomorrow 9 o'clock in the morning sharp, I'm going to start the exam. So all your preparation has to be done before 9 o'clock. And once 9 o'clock, once you get to that time, you need to start the exam on your computer. You have to sit down. Try giving it on a computer because the exam UI is better shown in the laptop compared to the app-based version. Like for instance, in the exam, you can mark questions for review and then come back to them. That's well done in the computer version, but you don't get that in the app version. So try to do these on the computer. Have absolutely no have absolutely any distractions during the test. Don't have next to you. Put it somewhere else. Try to limit your bathroom use because INI gives you 180 minutes for 200 questions. So you're already at a lack of time. So and going to the bathroom during the exam is going to cost you 10 minutes easily. So you need to practice all. And yeah, so once you've covered a decent chunk of syllabus, try to give the granters within the live window because at an accurate live ranking, and you need to compete with other people, right? Competition is part of preparation. And if you watch your ranks steadily improve, it's going to be a great source of confidence. And ultimately, your goal is to make INI just another GT. It should feel that easy to you. Yeah, so this is my GT progress. I started actually started tests before this, but it's only showing from March. So you can see I started at 77th centile and I was only scoring around 90 to 100 questions correct. But with my study, I did gradually improve. I got to 130 corrects, and I was consistently hitting 90th centile. But 90th centile does not cut it for INI. You need to be in the 99th centile, 90th or 99th centile to get that seat. So yeah, so this was up until September. And then after September, once my revision was complete, once one cycle of BTR was complete, you can see I was consistently hitting that 99th centile. And yeah, so these are my ranks in the last few GTs before November. So Marrow holds these exams. These are actually attended by a lot of people because it's free to all users. This one, the main one was attended by like 80,000 people. So the mock exams are a really good way to assess your preparation just before the main exam. And yeah, so my rank was 30th in the mock exam. And after that, I did feel really confident about my preparation. So we're almost at the end. So reflections on my journey so far. It would have been nice to start prep during MBBS is what I feel is the ideal time for some people, even fifth sem, because usually people who are studying for step 1 will start during the 5th semester, right? So yeah, but it's okay. I have no regrets about that. Paying attention to class, clinics, and practicals helped me because that was my style of learning and that was my strength, and I capitalized on that strength. In my opinion, BTR is the best material for rapid revision close to the exam because it's so concise and it's so high yield. I wish I'd done it sooner. I only started it in August, but I wish I'd known about it in February or March. And I believe you have to fall in love with your dream. You have to have passion for your goal because that's what's going to take you through the tough days. So, I mean, after NEET went really bad for me, there was this burning desire for me to get through November at any cost. So that really took me through on the bad days. And it's okay to fail sometimes because, a failure is a stepping stone to success. I do believe that. So you need to plan your study. You need to have defined targets. You can't have this broad target of, okay, I'll finish this as soon as I can. No, it has to be, I'll finish this subject by this date. You need to make a schedule. And if you're bad at making schedules like I am, I'm really bad at making schedules. So use a schedule that already exists. So BTR has that advantage of providing you with a schedule. DAMS also, I believe, gives you a schedule. So you can follow one of those. And it's more important to be perfect with the important topics than trying to learn new points and trying to learn everything about the subject, because examiners don't ask everything about the subject. They have a few topics from which they repeat questions over and over again. So you need to be thorough with those topics more than anything else. And ultimately, support from home, support from friends really matters. I was so grateful to have support from my parents. My mom took care of everything for me, for my health and my diet and everything else. So I that is an important part of preparation, and I hope that you guys get the same support as well. So that's it. These are the sticky notes that I had in front of me that I used to look to when I was feeling kind of low. And yeah, that's my journey so far. I'm happy to take questions and answers. I hope that this was useful to you. I hope I haven't really bored you with the stuff I've talked about. um yeah, so Siba, are you there?
Yeah, am I audible?
Hello.
Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. This was really, really comprehensive. I got a list of some 70, some 70 people sent their questions, and trust me, this PPT covers almost everything. I mean, it'll be really useful for all batches, third year, fourth year, even interns. Thank you so much for all the efforts, sir. I just have a few more questions, like some small, small questions, and which are asked by people, which are sent by people through the G form. So, can I start with the question, sir? Hello,
Yeah, all right, all right.
hello, am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So the first thing I want to ask was like, mm, after your internship, when you did your first revision, so what all source did you use for that, and how much time did you take for the first cycle of revision after internship? Like when you revise the whole syllabus, how much
Okay,
time did you take, and what
all
all
right, all
source did
right.
you use?
So
Okay.
okay, yeah. So I started my revision only after internship. So that's the thing. So I only started Marrow rapid revision after I finished internship in February. So the first time I did revision, so I watched all the videos and I annotated my notes. Now I used to watch lectures in two x or 3x, except for like Rakesh lectures. So that took me around 2 to 2.5 months. I was done around April, just before BTR, the offline BTR that I went to. I managed to finish one cycle of revision. So that's mainly because the videos are so long. But after you're done with the videos, subsequent cycles of revision will be done really quickly. Cycle within 1 month, I'd say.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Also, sir, for the last revision which you did, the one just before the exam, did you use your own notes or use the same notes as you used for the first cycle of revision? Like, how did you cut short that initial notes to the
Okay.
final? Yeah.
Okay, so basically, what I used before the exam would definitely be BTR. So the BTR gave me a workbook when I went for the offline one. So that was really concise. It's like 300 pages. So I knew what topics I wanted to read. I didn't a book to finish. I just knew the topics that I needed to cover from each subject. You just need to flip through and go through it. In my error notes, I did my error notes on the very last day, just before the exam. So these were my main sources of revision.
Thank you so much, sir. One more question I have is from all the interns. Like internship in general is really hectic. There'll be 5 6 months which in which you won't get time to read anything else, and even the remaining months, like it's a choice between like trying to read everything or trying to chill or and enjoy life a little bit. So like, how did you manage to stay in touch with your subjects with your preparation during internship, sir?
I mean, yeah, I totally relate to that. I was in batch E, so medicine was my very first thing. So it was hectic towards the end. I couldn't study anything during that time. So I mean, yeah. So you do have those 6 months of relatively free. It's okay not to study during medicine, surgery, or obscure, because you're not going to get much done. But there is scope for practical learning and internship. I mean, obviously, not useful to us, but there is work here and there that you can learn something from. So, for instance, in medicine, you're seeing casualty, you're mostly taking samples, but, once in a while, you'll be able to see some interesting cases. For instance, I still remember one of my JRs. She had me do a pathology test for Behçet's disease, for one patient with suspected Behçet's disease. So I didn't know what pathology test was, and I was solving an MCQ module the other day. No, it was a grant test. I was solving a grant test, and this question came: "What's the fluid you use to do the pathology test?" And the answer is just normal saline. So yeah, so stuff like that helps out. So I think for Jipmerites especially, our internship is really hectic. If you compare with colleges, in the or AIMS or something, they have it really chill. So that is kind of disadvantage that we have. But stay in touch with your subjects in the relatively chill 6 month postings. So don't pressurize yourself to study too much in the in medicine, surgery, or obs kind. That's what I did.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Next, yeah, when is the ideal time to start GTs, sir? Like, should you wait for the syllabus to be completed, or should you like start right away? Like, when did you start giving GTs, and what is the
Yeah.
ideal time
So
to
I
start
mean, I
GTs?
mentioned. So I mean, technically, the very first GT I gave was in third year, and I just gave it for just for the sake of it because I wanted to see what it was like. And yeah, so obviously, test when you're not prepared for it, and I understand the fear behind it. And is just to see what it's like. You don't have to give it with the intention of scoring correctly, but see, you've already finished first and second year. You're going to know at least some topics from there. You can give the GT with just that bit of knowledge. You can assess your baseline at least and know that okay, I know these are topics I've never seen before in my first 2 years of BBS, and the ideal time for preparation in general would be 6 semester because third year. I mean, I don't know about but we used to have afternoons free, and obviously there's a 10 that time. But if you even dedicated 1 or 2 hours a day, it would be a good start. You're definitely ahead of the rest.
Okay, sir. This question is from the final year, sir. How do they manage INI-CET preparation along with preparation for university exams? Because they have to spend a lot of time on case taking and practical exams. So how do they balance both the things? Like, should they focus on only on university exams, or should they, like, find a way to manage both at the same time?
I mean, yeah, in my case, I hardly prepared during my final year. I think it's a little difficult. But in final year, you're preparing for professional exams, and in that case, if you have something like Maro, you can watch Maro with the intent of preparing for your exams also. Not everything is covered in Maro, but you can. I mean, if you're studying surgery, you're studying GI. There's like 3 GI modules in no, there's a in surgery, so you can watch the lectures and you can see that it's not very different from what you're preparing for exams too. So I mean, I understand final year is a very difficult time to start preparation for competitive exams, and you shouldn't put that pressure onto yourself. Your aim should just be subject matter. If you know the concepts now, you'll be able to tackle MCQs later. So
Okay, sir. Thank you. Sir, how did you manage first and second year subjects? Like, how did you manage to revise them? What all source did you use? Like, was it only revision notes? Like, in your session, you told like for anatomy, you use some other source, mostly use revision notes. But you also mentioned that there's a huge weightage from those subjects in the final NEET exam. So, is Mero revision notes along with BTR enough for that, or like should you do something extra for that for the first and second year subjects?
yeah, I mean that's most of us haven't really focused the first 2 years of MBBS. We're just trying to clear exams, and that was me too. Yeah, Maro RR does cover most subjects really well. So in my case, I did have the advantage of having read my textbooks, especially like for biochem. Biochem was a really interesting subject for me for some reason. So my concepts are good in those in the first and second years. But when it came to RR, obviously I didn't remember everything from biochem or physiology. RR was really good. You can definitely watch Marrow RR for physiology, biochemistry. Pathology is also decent. But I met Preeti Sharma ma'am for micro. She also teaches pathology. So her style of teaching is really good. I would recommend her videos to anyone who's preparing. Yeah, and again, microbiology was not my style of learning, but it might suit other people. So you can give it a shot. But yeah, Marrow Aura covers everything you need. BTR is also a great supplement. The thing about BTR is, like I mentioned, there's this thing called compiled modules. So she actually takes these pictures from various textbooks and she discusses them. So that includes Robbins. So Robbins gets covered in her compiled module. So you don't have to read the textbook yourself. She does it for you. So that's the one advantage I feel is there with BTR.
Thank you so much, sir. My next question, coming to question bank, did you solve the entire question bank of Marrow, or like you focus mainly on the PYQs?
Yeah. So I did not have enough time to finish the entire Q bank of I mean, I could log in right now and show you guys how much I solved. So I solved all the PYQ modules. Actually, I did that before May INI. I made sure I completed all the PYQ modules. So out of there's like some 250, and I finished all 250. After NEET was when I was doing my MCQs more diligently. So that time I finished around 450 modules. There's like 800 in total. So I didn't get to finish everything. I tried to do as much as I could though.
Sir, what was your trend of GT scores? Like when you started preparing in GTs, and like how did the scores change as you started preparing more and more? You shared this slide with all the percentiles, but
Yes.
the lecture scores.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, you know what? Share my screen now. I'll show you my main screen.
How do I see the screen?
We can do that. So can you see the screen now? Hello.
Yes, sir, your screen is visible, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. My video won't be here, but my screen will be here. So yeah. So my overall progress in GTs. So this is what I was showing. I'll try to go before that. Now give me a second. Yeah. So this was just before INI November. I scored 155, but that was okay. So you can see this is actually my baseline. Right, just before I started preparation, I started out at 98 corrects. So that was not a great place to start, but it's okay because I didn't study anything by then. And as I studied more and more, I improved. Obviously, the INI type, like Marrow has two types of granters. They have one INI type and they have one NEET pattern. The NEET pattern tend to be easy, so I was scoring better in the NEET pattern ones. As you can see, my rank wasn't really spectacular. Getting in the thousands only. So I mean, I was starting at around 120 corrects. As I go on to April, and this INI mock, I scored 5,000. And obviously that didn't reflect in my main exam because my main exam rank was 698. So that's the other piece of advice I have to everyone listening, that your rank in Marrow does not matter at all. Like you can use it to compare your previous to track your progress, but your rank in Marrow does not define your real exam rank, because there are people who cannot handle the real exam that well, and they will falter. So that is where you have an advantage. So yeah, this one was just after I finished BTR. You can see my corrects jumped to 146 because I basically crammed the whole syllabus in 4 days, and I came out fresh from that memory, and I gave this GT. So yeah, that went much better. Um, so again, my baseline was 140s, and it didn't really improve. And this was one just before NEET, and I was scoring 140. Of course, NEET was easier than any Marrow GT, so I scored 158 in NEET. So yeah, after NEET, my grant test scores were still in the 130s, but once I started BTR, they steadily improved. Here I hit 159. This was a little bit of luck, but also because my preparation became more serious, I gave more MCQs, and I noticed a really good difference immediately. Yeah, and this mock, in this INI mock, my rank was 30th out of 20,000, which was obviously a huge confidence booster, which is exactly what I needed before the exam. And this one didn't go as well. This is 149, but that's okay. And my INI mock, my November exam was almost similar to this mock, right? I got 162 corrects in November, and I got 164 here. And it's actually said that Marrow mock tests are really close to the result you get in the exam, the main exam. So I mean, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. I think we have covered almost all the questions which people put up. Now
Okay.
I'll ask participants if they have any questions of their own. You can directly ask Sairam, sir.
Yeah, sure. A lot of people have left left the meeting. I think I must have bored some people.
No, they'll be on YouTube, sir. They'll be on YouTube. Stream live.
They can just send,
Okay.
you can just message on the chat box regarding your questions.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so there is a question by Preeti about what topics are must do and important for INA. Yeah, so there are you can solve previous year question modules, for instance, because that basically covers everything. But when it comes to topic, me to do this was, of course, BTR. That is exactly what BTR is about. I believe there are some compiled sources on the internet where people compiled the topics that were asked in the exam, but I haven't used anything like that. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a solid answer to your question. But if you solve the previous, actually, one thing you could do is if you're making a custom module, you can just use there are tags that you can add, right? So you can just use hashtag aims, and you can look at the questions that are being asked, right? Set 100 questions and just go through the questions. You don't have to solve it or anything, but you'll get an idea of what questions are asked. That is one way to do it. Also, Marrow offers this thing called a schema, which sorts all their questions by topics. So that's also one way you can approach them. All right. Next by random. Sir, Marrow main notes plus BTR plus QBank seems too big to revise. What's the revision? Yeah. So this is not. First of all, I didn't use Marrow main notes to revise, right? I used their separate videos and notes. But you can't just study and expect to score a good rank. You cannot do it without solving questions. So you must do. I mean, I would recommend QBank. I didn't finish all 800 modules of the QBank. I did 450, but you have enough time. I feel like I did that in just 3 months or 2 months almost. So if I did that in 2 months, you should be able to do 800 in 6 months. If you're starting now for the next INI May, you have 6 months to do it, and you have plenty of time. So so Marrow revision notes plus BTR plus QBank is what worked for me. Obviously, it won't be the same for everyone. And the thing is, I haven't explored other platforms. I don't know about Cerebellum. I don't know about DAMS. I don't know about PrepLadder. So I unfortunately cannot answer questions about those for you. Yeah, so someone's asked if I finished all main videos in Marrow, especially medicine. No, I did not. So what I did was I did revision videos, and if I felt any concept was not explained well enough in revision videos, or if it was missing, I went back to the main notes and I did them. For some subjects like biochem, I watched most, if not all, of the main videos because biochem is heavily conceptual, and I feel like revision doesn't do justice to the vastness of biochemistry. So that's I did a few main videos. I also did it for dermatology because I had a tough time that time. Also, I think a little bit of pathology, but no, I did not finish all the main videos, definitely, and especially not medicine because medicine is very huge, and I did not have the time to do it. Next, the ideal time to start preparing for INI, like I mentioned, I think sixth semester is a good time to start, but I started very late. So I mean, I started in February, and in 9 months I was able to crack the exam. So different times for different people here. Yeah, I mean, if you could start a little bit by sixth semester, I'm not telling you to do it full fledged. You can just get things going, start exploring, start learning what is the best way for you to prepare. I'd say sixth semester is a good place to start. Then Ansh is asking that I followed Marrow GT schedule, but it wasn't right. By that, yeah. So yeah, Ansh. So that's what. So I did Marrow GT schedule, but I didn't like the frequency. I felt that they needed to be more frequent before the exam. So so BTR TNDs, they were held every 3 days or every 4 days, depending on the length of the subject. So it's very frequent. So I mean, every test, if you see every test as a competition, I believe that pushes you further to study more. If you had 1 week to study for a test, you're not going to be effective in the first 2 or 3 days. You're going to be more effective in the last few days before the exam. So yeah, having the high frequency of TNDs definitely did help. And Marrow subject and mini tests also allow you to get a live ranking. So it's a little bit of a confidence boost or an ego boost, I guess. So yeah, Anirudh's asking which approach is that? Yeah, so Anirudh, since you're in third year now, I would say your approach can be doing just first and second year. So obviously a system-wise approach is best, but you haven't finished the subjects in medicine just yet, right? So I feel like that will be a little tough to cope with. If you do first year and second year thoroughly now, by the time you get to fourth year, first of all, your final year becomes much easier when you're clear with your basics. And after that, after final year, I think that would be the time when you can do a complete system-wise revision. That is just my opinion. Obviously, if you could give it a shot because you have time to experiment now, and if you find that reading system-wise is easy for you, including medicine, then go for it. A system-wise approach is always best. And BTR also covers things system-wise. So they don't in BTR there is no separate just physiology or just pathology discussion. So it's called integrated systems. So if she's doing a module on CVS, it's going to be physiology, pathology, pharmacology, and medicine of CVS. And that is a good way.
Sentence go BTR, sentence the BTR.
I mean, like, yeah, I know I'm talking about BTR a lot, but that was, I do believe BTR was the game changer for me. So obviously I'm going to like BTR. And that's just a personal opinion. I know there are people who don't like BTR. I respect that. But, if you can get your hands on, if you can get your hands on 1 or 2 videos, right? If you can borrow a plan from someone and just see what it's like. You just need to know if it's for you or not for you. That is what I believe you should explore. You have the time to explore. You should explore your various sources. Some work better for others. My personal, micro and path is a lot to memorize, and I hate memorizing. So it was really tough for me. In second year, I couldn't read Robbins that well. I used to fall asleep while reading Robbins. So obviously I just read for passing. I did like Apurv sir's textbook textbook. I used to read that line to line. But even then, that's just for exams, and then I'd forget. Like if you ask me 1 week later, I wouldn't be able to answer. So the thing about micro and path is, I personally liked Preeti ma'am's discussion for micro and path. So because there's a lot of mnemonics, obviously when you have to memorize all these organisms, mnemonics are a great way to do that. So that my approach to micro and path was Preeti ma'am's lectures. And my for medicine, because I did BTR, it was system wise. Before that, when I was doing Maro RR, obviously I didn't go system wise. I went subject wise. But I didn't really like medicine Maro RR that much. I felt it wasn't correct for INI preparation. Yeah, Raghav. So if you ask any of my batchmates, they'll tell you that I wanted JIPMER medicine from the very beginning. So I knew I wanted JIPMER medicine. So that was my only goal. So it helps to have that in mind. So if you know what you're going for, you know what rank you need to meet that seat. It gives you a sense of direction. Now, if you have a very ill-defined goal of I want to get a good seat, I just want to get a good rank. If you don't know where you want to do what PG, I feel like you're not going to be as motivated. So you should have a dream. Everyone should have a dream. Everyone should work towards that dream. I agree with BTR. You may feel FOMO because obviously it's concise, so you know that some topics are not discussed in BTR. But BTR covers everything that you need to know. And like I kept stressing on, you only need, if you're perfect with these need to know concepts, you're going to get at least 140, 150 correct in the exam. And the rest is on you. So if you supplement, BTR alone is never enough. You cannot believe that just by doing BTR you'll get a good rank. It has to be supplemented. BTR gives you a core on which you have to build upon. So you have to do PYQs, you have to do custom models, you have to do MCQs, you have to do GTs, and I supplemented it with another RR. And all of these together helped me. That's what I'd say. So I didn't have much of a FOMO because before doing BTR I did Maro RR. So I didn't really have FOMO because I knew what was covered and what wasn't. Is it a good idea to Maro GTs and TDs? Okay, so Jumpion Rider, what you described is basically what my friend Rohan did. So he didn't do Maro RR. He did BTR. He did the Q Bank. He did the subject tests and GTs and TNDs. And where he had doubts, he went back to videos. He watched a few Maro main videos. So is it a good idea? Well, I mean, what worked for him won't work for everyone. And you have time, right? So you have 6 months till the next NEET or the next INI. So I don't see why you should restrict yourself, because BTR gets done within 2 months. So what are you going to do for 4 months? 4 months. You have the time to study. That's what I believe. If you one subject, you might end up feeling a little bit of FOMO, and that also affects your confidence. Oh, okay. In the last 30 days, so in the last 30 days, I didn't watch any videos as such. So I only had my error notes because that's supposed to be concise. I switched up to solving more GTs, more MCQs. And I didn't read anything new, because you shouldn't really read anything new when the exam is coming up. It's not going to help you. You're not going to remember it also. So you just have to revise what you've already done. You just have to make sure that that part is solid. So Angon, in final year, I was again mainly relying on classes. So especially for pediatrics, obviously all our professors are really good, and I had class notes for all of them, and that was my main source of preparation. And actually, that's almost all you need for even INI. So they don't really go beyond that. If you're reading Guy for exams, that's it. You really don't need to go beyond that. They don't ask beyond that also. For other subjects, OBSCAN it requires lots of. I mean, the teaching in JIPMER is obviously good. I used to read Lakshmi Sheshadri, and I did watch Marrow, a little bit of Marrow. So together, I did build my concepts in Obscan also. That was what I did. Surgery, of course, was Marrow main videos by Rohan Khandelwal sir. And I did have, for exams, I didn't read any big textbooks. I didn't read Bailey. I had like these Manipal manual of surgery. And I can't remember some other exam prep manual or something. So, I for concepts, I was relying on Marrow because I think concepts are given good in Marrow surgery especially. Now medicine, I again not a huge fan. I like his style of teaching, but you don't remember anything after watching his lectures. That's what I feel. So for medicine, I did read from Davidson. I also had this Manipal manual of medicine. That's what I used for my exams. And I mean, my concepts were pretty good. It's not like I lost out on concepts by reading those prep manuals only. So that's what I did in final year. I'm not really a nerd. I didn't really read that many books. So yeah. When anyone starts giving GTs, they'll attribute low scores to that. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, obviously when you start giving GTs, your scores are not going to be high. So I'm saying you should give GTs early just to get an idea of, first of all, to understand what kind of questions are being asked in the exam, because it's not going to be like your professional exams. The pattern and style of questions are completely different. So for you to just get an understanding of that, and well, as for like your excuses question, well, when you start preparing, you'll know how well you prepared, right? So I mean, I'm not really sure how to answer this question. So if you've completed a subject, you'll know that you shouldn't get any questions from that subject wrong, if you get what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't really know any other way to explain that. As a third-year student listening to classes following Marrow videos, and again, so I mean, I didn't study myself in third year. It's just like as an afterthought, looking back, I wish that I started a little bit in third year. So you don't have to invest that much time. You can invest 1 hour a day, for instance. You can start slow. You just explore the platform. Just know that this is what the content is. This is what you need to eventually do at some point, and you need to set up a plan. Like if you're starting from third year, I would say third year is the best time to get complete first and second year subjects, because you've already read them once. Your concepts are still relatively fresh. So when you visit them, you'll know some things, and you'll find things that you've not heard about before. So I'd say by the end of third year, if you're able to finish the first two, the first and second year subjects, you're off to a great start. You can do clinical subjects in final year and internship. And for Japanites, I do believe cracking November INI is a little difficult. It's not impossible. But because of how internship is, it won't be easy. So I do feel taking 6 months after internship is not bad at all, and that's when you can really solidify your preparation. Can you please walk through your last? Yeah, so again, last 30 to 60 days, you cannot revise the entire QBank. The QBank has to be done much before that. Your last 30 to 60 days, ideally, if you have one set of notes, for me, that was BTR notes. For someone else, that can be Marrow RR notes. You have to establish a schedule. You have to try to, if you have 60 days, I'd say you have to keep 30 days for the first cycle of revision and 15 days for the second cycle of revision. And the remaining 15 days can be used for GTs, can be used for revising highly volatile concepts. There's this concept of a Choti copy, for instance, that I never really used. I have my error notes, for instance, so I would be revising that in the last 15 days. So the goal is never to do a complete revision of the entire syllabus, because that is impossible. You can't do that in the last 30 days. You can't do that in the last 10 days. So you need to, you basically need to shorten down how much you're revising. So if you're starting at 6 months, and you're done with one cycle by 4 months. Actually, by 4 months, you should try to finish 2 cycles of revision. After that, you need to keep shortening your revision material, because some concepts will already be read and you don't need to see them again. But the concepts that, like, for instance, classifications or scoring systems, they require revision. You're not going to remember them because there's no concept to it. So these are the kind of things that you need to revise in the last 30, 60 days.
That's all, I guess. I think we've covered the questions. I have one last question, sir.
Yeah.
What's the plan now? Will you be joining JIPMER or somewhere else? I hope it's JIPMER, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, JIPMER is really close to my heart, and obviously it was my dream to come back to JIPMER and do medicine. I never really expected this rank. After the exam and after looking at recalls, I thought, okay, maybe I'd get in the top 100, but rank 1 was definitely nowhere on my mind. So and now with rank 1, I do have to look at other colleges, AIMS Delhi and PGI, definitely. But yeah, it remains to be seen. I haven't decided anything yet. It's going to take me a while to come to that decision.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your time, and all the best for your future. And yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Sairam.
Yeah, thanks, Sibanuj. Thanks for having me.
Okay.
All right, thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. I hope it was useful for everyone.
Yep.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah, he's been waiting for
All
this
right, thanks,
long to
guys.
put that. Thank you so much, Sairam.
All right then.
Good
Thank you so
night.
much.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Yeah. Thanks. Good night. Bye bye.
Remove everyone.
Yeah.
I will talk to him for 5 minutes.
No, I'll call him.